What's up, y'all? Welcome to your safe space. I'm your host, RJ, and this is the Alive I Guess podcast. If you're new here, welcome. I appreciate you for joining. If you've been here, welcome back. I appreciate you as always. Today, we are going to be discussing rest. It's extremely important for me to be discussing rest, especially now, especially at the end of the year, it's the holidays, there's so much going on in the world. Rest is more important than ever. We have a lot of quotas we got to hit by the end of the year. We have a lot of things to do, a lot of places to go, a lot of obligations. And I'll speak for myself, but rest is the last thing that I'm prioritizing. And I'm not saying sleep, I'm saying rest. So we've got to get it out there. We got to have a discussion and we got to talk about it. But before we do that, you already know we got to get some gratitude popping. We got to set the tone. If you're new here, I like to start every episode off with a little bit of gratitude just to get the space ready so we can dive into some topics. Because not today, but sometimes we're going to dive into some heavy topics, and it's just really important to set the tone and set the vibe for the episode. So I like to start off with something that I am grateful for. And if you're listening, go ahead and say something you're grateful for as well. And if you're watching, drop something you're grateful for in the comments. Today, I am grateful for joy. Joy is something that is not an everyday thing. It's very fleeting. It's not common, especially as an adult and someone with a lot of obligations and responsibilities. Joy can be very hard to come by. Lately, I have been doing things that bring me joy and having more of an opportunity to be in joy more often. And I think it's been something that has been helping my mood, helping my energy levels, just helping me overall. And I'm very, very appreciative of it because I went so long without it that you never really know what you got till it's gone, you know? So I am very grateful for joy today. All right, let's get into it because rest be happening, or at least it should be. Oh man, rest. Rest is such a tricky thing. For myself, it's the biggest area in my life, current day, that needs attention. I have learned to prioritize my health in terms of my physical health. I'm working on my eating habits. Not that I eat bad, that was something I had to overcome. I don't eat enough. But all the other things that I need to work on, rest is at the top of that list. And I'm not, again, talking about sleep. I'm talking about rest. Right now is a time where we've just been conditioned to go, go, go. We haven't been taught how to slow down, been taught to be intentional about taking mindful breaks, been taught to reset and just be okay with being bored. We have so many stimuli around us that just keeps our brains going constantly. We have things that are literally built to stimulate us all day, whether it's our phones, our laptops, TV, the music, the things on social media, the advertisements, if you're out and about or if you are doing all the other things I just mentioned, like we're constantly being stimulated. And all that stimulation is work on the brain. And the brain needs a moment to chill, like to unwind. Imagine if it's like a car, like your brain's like a car and you just leave it running for days. Your car ain't gonna last that long. And so it's the same thing for our brains and our bodies. Like we need rest. And that might look like sleep. It might look like other things sometimes, but there's a lot of different reasons as to why we don't rest, how we should rest, what rest looks like, things to be intentional with in terms of rest, and why we don't rest, like the things that get in the way of that. There's a huge misconception, at least I used to believe that rest was one thing or something different from what it actually is. And let me say, rest isn't something you have to earn. It's not a reward, it's not a luxury, it's not a perk. It is our natural born right to be able to rest. It's not something you have to accomplish something in order to get. It's something that is equally as important as anything else in your life. It's something that should be prioritized more than these external factors and things that we do for other people. It's also not quitting, and it's not laziness. I think about, at least in the Black household, when we're kids, there's this ongoing thing. If you know, you know. Like, especially during the summer, if kids are just resting and chilling all day, they could be deemed as lazy. And it's like, bro, I go to school every day. I get up and go work just like you do. But I'm a kid and I don't know really what to do with this. But I work hard all day, every day, and I come home and I do work after work. Y'all ain't got that. So if I want to get up at 10 o'clock in the summer when I can, I should be able to. I should be able to rest. But no, what do the moms say? You being lazy. You can't be lounging around all day. Why not? I mean, yeah, you can like get up eventually and get them in some extracurriculars, but rest should not be demonized the way it is. Rest is something that we literally need to survive. It's important. Without it, we can't function. We can't really do shit if we don't rest. If you leave your phone on for a long time without restarting it, eventually it starts to mess up. If you leave your computer on without restarting it or turning it off, eventually it starts to mess up. If you leave things going and functioning without giving it the proper rest or reset, it's going to mess up. But we don't understand that when it comes to us. We get told that you got to earn the rest. You're being lazy if you rest. You are giving up if you decide to rest. But we can understand it in every other aspect, in every other situation of our lives. That is crazy. And I admittedly used to believe it completely. There are still moments when I still do believe it. Like, I still put rest after accomplishments, after completing something, after I do this. If I get this done or if I push through this week, I'll rest on Sunday. Like, it's Monday. You gonna keep pushing for 6 days just so you can rest for one on the seventh? That's not sustainable at all, especially as we get older, especially as we get more responsibilities. It's going to be a lot of wear and tear on our bodies, on our brains. We have to start implementing restful practices, restful moments. You don't have to take a nap every time you want to rest, but you need to be intentional. And I'm talking to myself when I say this, need to be intentional with resting. It is the holiday season. And so, especially in the holiday season, we're experiencing a lot of different reasons why it is important to rest. But these are also reasons that are applicable throughout the year and can be used whenever. So, we have just wear and tear, the load of decision making and dealing with stress and trying to function in society and capitalism, going to work and coming home, being a parent and making sure we're hanging out with our friends and checking in on our loved ones. It's a lot of mental gymnastics and balancing and juggling just to maintain our everyday lives. There is also an element of grief that a lot of us are dealing with: grief of a lost one, grief of a situation or a past event, or just nostalgia that we have. There's grief in that. Grief is a huge drainer, especially on our mental, but also on our physical too. Like, grief is very heavy. Then we have the social obligations, fitting in and participating in society. That is everywhere from keeping up with trends, making sure we are doing our part in the community, whether that just being law abiding and doing what we're supposed to, or if you go as far as giving back to the community or just being in a community around people. It's just exerting a lot of energy that we don't really tend to think about, because over time it really adds up. All these things play into energy exertion. Then we got things like financial stress. That could wear you down. That's probably the quickest one that could wear you down. That feeds into everything else. And then we deal with things like emotions coming up that come up out of nowhere because we're humans and we're processing and we get triggered and certain things start to surface. So we are exerting energy constantly, all the time. Some things cause more energy to be used, and some things just kind of have this slow drip of energy being used, but there's always a burn. The food that we're eating probably isn't the best. I know a lot of us try to make the best decisions, but we don't get it right all the time. We don't, especially not as we're participating in this, because you got to go out and eat with your friends. You got to go to these family events and these gatherings, and it's not going to be salads and spinach all the time. Sometimes you're going to eat that cake because you deserve a little treat. And there's nothing wrong with a little sweet treat sometimes, but sometimes you go a little further than a little sweet treat, and now you eating the whole thing, So you can't really restore and get the energy you need and the nutrients in that. So that is a energy drainer with just the food, our decisions that we're making. All that to say, there's a lot of things that are pulling energy from us. And these are just things that we have to do just to function in society. And so, why is it that if we have to do these things, if we have no choice but to participate in these reindeer games of sorts with going to work and getting a job and participating at family events and keeping up with our friends and making sure our mental health is on point, and that all uses energy, why do we have to use rest as a reward? Why do we need to earn rest? All these things are assumed of us automatically. Shouldn't the rest be? Shouldn't rest be something that we are given and are deserving of, are worthy of? We already give so much. We got to earn the rest. We got to earn a break. Insane. So, like I touched on at the beginning of this, rest isn't just about sleeping. How many times have you gone to sleep and woke up still tired and you're like, damn, I did not get adequate rest last night? So, if rest and sleep were one and the same and interchangeable, we wouldn't even be having this discussion. We'd be talking about sleep. I personally have gone to sleep and woken up exhausted a lot. And I have done things during my day like going on walks, going to the gym, had a moment of decompressing, and have felt better and more energized than I did when I woke up from sleep. Rest and sleep are not one and the same. So, what can rest look like? We need rest for our mental. That's cutting off the stimulus, cutting off the over analyzing of our emotions and compartmentalizing, cutting off code switching and being this idea of a person and the person that we need to be in certain rooms in order to fit in or do whatever we need to do in order to get by. Like sometimes we just need to turn that off and not worry about being polished or all put together. Sometimes you just gotta say fuck it and just kind of be what it is and let your mental just kind of go. Let the thoughts pass. Let the thoughts come up in waves and not try to fight it. Just give your brain a break from the strain of trying to get it right in your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions. Just be. So that's mental. Then you've got emotional. So that can look like not tolerating certain things that maybe you usually do. Maybe some days you're very understanding, you're open to repeating yourself and letting things slide, but sometimes you don't want to do that. You want to hold firm in your boundaries and don't let anybody overcross you in that boundary. Sometimes you don't want to keep explaining yourself. Sometimes you don't have to be the one to teach somebody something just because they're asking. I got people who come to me, and apparently I'm the spokesperson for all non binary people. No. Some days I'm not doing it. Go do your research and figure it out because you're a big boy or you're a big girl and you can do it. It's not my job, and I'm not going to do that today. Sometimes you just got to hold that line. Like, this is what I will tolerate. This is what I won't tolerate. Sometimes you get a pass. It ain't happening right now. Then you got the social aspect. This is probably the most like tangible, obvious one, but not going to the event or the party. Even if you said, look, I'm going to go Then you change your mind because you decide you are very tired. I've done that a few times for a few different situations. Not that it felt good or that it was easy, because these were things that I really wanted to go to and it was for people that I cared about. But you really just got to listen to your body when it is something that is like, hey, I'm about to give out. You might want to take a break. And so I was like, hey, I know I said I'd go. I apologize, but I can't make it. Like, I really need to rest. And fortunately, the people in my life are amazing and they understand and they agree. And a lot of times, even if I don't say I need rest, it's implied that rest is the cure, and they will say, you need to rest. Like, go ahead and rest and do what you need to take care of yourself. And so that is great. Not everyone is going to be as understanding. So sometimes you just got to say, I'm not going. I'm not doing it. Sorry, but got to prioritize yourself. We spend a lot of times prioritizing other people. You deserve to prioritize yourself. So sometimes you got to choose rest over the thing. And it's okay. The world will keep spinning. Then there's the sensory rest. So these are the ones where it's like, ooh, these lights are too bright. Turn that music down, turn that TV off. Please stop talking to me. I just need everything that is messing with my sensory to stop. That can be like, I need to take these socks or jacket or hat or whatever off. Things that you could usually tolerate or maybe you do like. Sometimes your brain is like, "Ooh, I don't like that right now. Like, it's too much. I'm overloaded. We got to start cutting some things out." So turning the light off, turning the sound down, cutting the conversation, taking things off, putting things on, whatever it is to bring that restoration into your brain, into your body, into your soul, do it. I have sweatpants and different articles of clothing that I use when I need like comfort, because that can help me with my rest. I have really nice like noise canceling headphones when I need just to be like zen and in peace and hear some quiet music and shut out noise, outside noise. That can be rest. I also have things in place where it's like, we got to cut all this out. My wife and I have this thing called happy hour. And happy hour is where you are feeling overstimulated, and instead of having this conversation like, hey, I'm feeling overstimulated and I need to just have a minute. We've had this conversation, we've agreed to this term. And so when one of us says, hey, happy hour, that means we don't talk for a full hour. And it's no hard feelings, it's no being upset about it. It's just, I understand you're at capacity, or you understand I'm at capacity, and we need a minute. And it's just happy hour. And we're quiet. And in an hour, or if you need a little longer, we will resume. But you got to give yourself that sensory rest. And it's okay. Like, it's fine. You deserve it. We spend all day on computers and engaging in conversations and on our phones and with the noise of music and just traffic and all the things outside. It's a lot, while all processing all the other things that we've talked about already. It's a lot of energy. So sometimes your brain's like, nope, we're done. Too much. We got to stop that. These things don't have to be hours, days long periods of rest. These can literally be restful moments. This can be a minute of just sitting in quietness and just taking a deep breath and giving yourself the opportunity to not engage in anything for a second. Sometimes that's all we need. Other cases, it might be a bit extreme and you need like a full day, maybe need a few hours, maybe need a little longer. Sometimes we get to that point, but usually that comes when we're not implementing these restful practices in smaller doses where we get burnt out and then everything's in the red. And now we have to go through these extremes of like taking time off of work, going to the doctor. We got the migraines, we got anxiety, we got all these things because we aren't resting, because our brains have not had the opportunity to turn off for a second and restart. Just like that iPhone, when it starts glitching and you try typing and it's not working, and all of a sudden your camera app is opening, what's the first thing you do? Turn that bitch off, right? Because it needs a moment to rest. Sometimes, if it's tripping hard, you turn it off and you let it sleep for a few minutes, maybe overnight. The same thing is true as humans. We are just big, like computers, our brains, and this brain controls everything. So, if we aren't taking care of it, what do you think's gonna happen to everything else in our lives? It's gonna go on the fritz. It's gonna get messed up. Believing that you're deserving or that you're worthy of rest is something that I run up against. I know I still, even though I say these things, have to convince myself of rest. I am very fortunate. I have my wife who reminds me of the importance of resting, of self care, of taking breaks, of the impact not doing these things can have on me in the future, and how when I start feeling bad, like physically or like mentally, it's usually 99% of the time directed at some form of rest. Sleeping, taking breaks, or just other little mindful, restful practices. I want to be the one to say that you are allowed to rest, even when you're behind, even when you're unemployed, even if you just spent the whole day resting. Just because it feels like you've had enough rest or if you've rested too long doesn't mean you should stop resting if your body still doesn't feel rested. You are allowed to rest as long as you need to until you feel better, until you feel rested. You are allowed to rest even when things don't feel resolved, even when you feel you haven't really accomplished anything. You are allowed to rest, period. You don't need a reason to rest. If your body is calling you to rest, if your mind is calling you to rest, or your spirit, that's because you need rest. And a lot of us may not be in tune with our bodies or may not be in tune with our mind, our brain, our soul. And so we might not even know what the signal of asking for rest from our brain looks like. I know this is something I'm still learning. I don't necessarily know how to decipher what's rest, like when I need to take a break, or when it's maybe like frustration because I can't get something done. I don't know what it's like to honestly have a good night's rest and be able to get up and not feel tired at a certain point in the day. I don't know what is supposed to happen or supposed to happen as an adult. Like, is this just something that we deal with, being tired in the middle of the day and kind of hitting a slump? Or is it my body's way of telling me I need rest? I deal with excusing the different signals that my body and my brain give me because I tell myself, oh, I need to do this first, or I'll rest later, like I'll dangle it like a carrot. And I have to remind myself, if I need rest, I deserve rest and I should rest. And I don't have to do anything to earn that rest. If you want to rest, you should be able to take it without justifying that rest, if that's what you're being called to do. But the awareness of understanding what being called to rest looks like is something that, because of the society and the times that we're living in with technology and expectations and pressure, is something that we have to learn. And we can only learn what it looks like for ourselves. Just understand that rest doesn't mean you're blowing off everything. It doesn't mean that nothing matters. It means that you matter and that you're prioritizing yourself and you care enough about yourself to give yourself an opportunity of rest. So take it, because we're going to need it. We are only so young, so long. And then eventually we get older, and some of the things that we did in our youth and in our younger days, we cannot sustain that as we get older. And I already feel that. I'm only in my 30s, but there are certain things I can't do. I get very tired at like 10 o'clock, and 10 o'clock, that used to be the time I'm getting ready to go out to start my night. Oh, oh, I could not imagine doing that today. I'm surprised when I can do like an all-nighter till like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Like, okay, still got it. Look at you. Because usually, no, I'm in the bed, heating blanket on. I'm asleep. I also think it's important to draw a distinction between taking a moment to rest and avoiding something. I have a lot of people close to me who sleep a lot for different reasons. Whether they're tired, they rest. If they're bored, they rest or sleep. Excuse me. See, they sleep. If they're bored, they sleep. If they're stressed or depressed, they sleep. Like sleep is a big part of their life. Now, sometimes you can use rest or sleep as avoidance, specifically like sleep, but resting, intentional resting is not avoidance. It's a way that you can put things down so that you can pick them up later so that you can have the capacity to rest. I look at rest as a form of building endurance to deal with things. If you don't have energy to go tackle this big problem, that big problem is going to be there because you're not going to be able to handle it because you don't have the energy. Avoidance runs from problems. You're avoiding it quite literally, where rest is building space and capacity to deal with these problems. You can always go and revisit the things that you got to deal with later. It's not, well, some things might be urgent, but in situations where you can get the rest and deal with it, put it down and get the rest so that you can come back in a better mindset, sharper, ready to handle these things better than you would have if you would have just pushed through the fatigue. Like, there's literally no way to give your full capacity when you do not have your full capacity. And if you are depleting yourself and you're not replenishing that energy, you're not at full capacity. You can't give what you don't have. So if you don't have your full capacity because you haven't replaced what you lost, then you're not even giving it your all anyway. So you might as well rest up, get that energy back, and then go tackle what it is you need to tackle. And again, it's not sleeping. If that's not what you need in terms of rest, maybe you just need a breather. Maybe you need to take a walk. Maybe you need to turn everything off and just sit in the dark. Maybe you need to get in the bath. Maybe you need to read a book. Rest can look like so many different things. It just depends on what kind of rest you need. What kind of rest is calling you? What have you been giving all of your focus and your energy to that you need a break from? Give you an example. With this podcast, I get a lot of screen time, too much screen time. And my setup at my desk is two big computers on top of external devices like my phone or my iPad, on top of consuming a lot of videos and media and just digital information. That's a lot of stimulating things coming at me all day. And I'm looking at these things for hours. If I'm not on my computer, I'm on my phone for work. If I'm not on my computer or on my phone for work, I'm on my phone for leisure on social media. And then I'm like, dang, I've been on my phone too long. I'll turn on the TV. And then when I'm watching TV, I'll play a game on my phone. Like, let's be so for real. And then I'll look up and be like, damn, my head hurts. My eyes hurt. I feel so tired. It's only 9 o'clock. Why am I so drained? Probably because you just gave up like 1,000 watts of your energy to the computer. And you see, I tried to rest by getting on my phone and getting back into the problem, and that didn't work. Not really going to happen. And so I'm being stimulated with these computers, these phones, this media, these screens all day, all the way up until I go to sleep. And I don't have an opportunity to wind down and give my brain that come down from the high. So when I'm sleeping, my brain is still just up here buzzing. So my brain's not rested. Now we got the thoughts running. Before we go to sleep, the dreams are going crazy. I also found out if you take like melatonin or something to help you sleep, well, I can't speak for everything, but melatonin for sure is psychoactive. So it literally keeps your brain up. And the first thing I look to when I feel like I can't sleep is melatonin. Well, now my brain's literally being stimulated. So here I am, stimulated all day. I'm up for what, 16 something hours, 17 hours. And then I go to sleep, brain's still working. It's working for 6, 7, 8 hours. Then I wake up and I'm exhausted because at the time where you supposed to be charging up, you're depleting even more. And now you got to get up and do a whole other day. Yeah, I got to do better with that because I just clocked my own shit. And I know I'm not the only one. I have been trying to do more mindful practices with limiting my screen time, or at least giving myself the opportunity to wind down at night by putting my phone in another room come a certain time at night. And that is a few hours before I go to sleep. Do I do that every night? No. No, I do not. Um, I've honestly been sucking at it lately. I'm not gonna hold you. It's something that I need to be better at. Um, but the intention is once I finally get it down, that come this time, the phone is up, the screens are over. I try not to watch TV. I don't watch a lot of TV as it is, but if I do decide to watch something, I'm not watching it until I fall asleep. Like I give myself a chance for my brain to actually come down so that by the time I'm asleep, I'm resting. And I notice a difference. Days where I'm just fully screen time, I wake up beat, beat, head hurting in the temples, that throb, back of the head start hurting. It's terrible. It's just terrible. So I understand what rest can do because imagine doing this over and over and over for weeks and months and years. Eventually, your body is going to be done with sending you signals, and one is like, hey, I'm tired. Hey, I'm tired. It's just going to stop. It's going to give up. You're going to get sick because it can't fight diseases or viruses or infections. You're going to get chronic fatigue and headaches and just different physical things that you're dealing with. Your mental capacity isn't going to be the same. You're not going to be able to function as well as you once were because you literally use your brain to its fullest capacity. It's exhausted. It's going to catch up to you eventually. Rest. You need it. You could try and fight it. Your body's either going to ask you to rest and you're going to give it to it, or it's going to take it. Which do we prefer? Plus, when you give yourself rest and you give yourself the opportunity to be at your fullest capacity, that expands what you're able to do. Like, truly, you set yourself up for the future. You are able to put things in place to where when you are able to rest, your rest becomes greater and you can be more energized and able to do things the next day. Your brain is functioning at a full capacity and you're able to think clearly and problem solve. You get a lot of clarity and just moments of insight and understanding about yourself. But if you're just on constant go and you're on constant go on fumes, you don't have the energy or the capacity to even think outside of that. Like you literally have to prioritize what you're doing because that's all the energy you got. So if you rest, you literally expand your consciousness and your awareness and your ability to do things and grow and become more of an expansive person. And then you can start to tackle those harder things. You can start to tackle the hard emotions that come up and the triggers that come up. And when the grief comes up, it's not completely debilitating. You have the capacity to work through some things, and that just further creates more capacity as you knock things out, as you gain an awareness, as you literally expand your capacity to handle things. It just plays so much into just a better version of yourself. As I say this out loud and I think about how I dog myself out and I don't rest, it's like I should do better, right? Like I literally know better. I should do better. And that just goes to show you, even when you know better, you don't necessarily do better because it's hard. And if we had all the answers and we knew what to do, I'm sure life would be a breeze for most of us. So let me just call out it's hard. Sometimes we don't do the things we know we should do for various reasons. Sometimes we forget. We have a lot going on, a lot of responsibilities. Sometimes you have to reprioritize your kid or your spouse or other people in our family, and they take your attention, they take your energy, and sometimes you can't prioritize you. I get that. But when you're able to come back to these moments of realization and remember the importance of resting, do what you can to prioritize it because you need it. So practice giving yourself permission to rest. You are deserving of rest. You don't have to earn your rest. Rest is our natural birthright of just being a person, whether you are contributing to anything or anyone or society at all. You deserve the rest. You do not need approval to rest. You do not need to do anything to rest, to earn rest. It's just something that you automatically get and automatically deserve. So take the rest, whatever type rest you need, however long that you need the rest, go for it. You literally need it because without it, you're cooked. And just remember, you aren't alone in this. There's lots of us, especially today, going through the same thing. If nobody else is, I'm going through it with you. We are in the trenches trying to hold on for dear life. Take the rest. I too am going to be implementing more restful practices in my life. See, I can't barely talk because I haven't even rested. I literally didn't get rest last night and I can feel it. So do what you got to do to convince yourself or get it through your mind that you are deserving of rest. And then find out what restful ways work best for you. Find out what it is that your body is calling you to do and what your brain is calling you to do in terms of rest. And then take it. Doesn't have to be long, but you are worthy of the rest. And for those of us who are exhausted today and you still showed up, I am grateful for you. And you did an amazing job of yet another day going through life with the lack of rest. So now you deserve it. I'm letting you know you have earned your rest for the day. So go and take some rest. Alrighty, you already know what time it is when you see the iPad. It's time for I Say This With Love. And if you are new here, I Say This With Love is a segment where I give solicited advice. If you would like to get advice on a situation, maybe you're going through something and you kind of don't know where to go, you can write us at Alive I Guess podcast at gmail.com with your situation and the information, and I will give you some advice. It will be my honest truth. It will not be all fluffy and cute, and it will be what you need to hear in terms of what I believe. I won't give any personal identifiers, and if you would like your information read on the pod, be sure to write us in for a chance to have it read. All right. So today we have the following. I've been with my partner for 6 years. We live together, we split bills, nothing is really wrong. Life is just kind of routine and boring. So a few months ago, I reconnected with an old friend. We talk every day now, mostly harmless stuff, jokes, voice notes, checking in. Nothing physical has happened. But I delete the messages, I hide my phone, and I get more excited to hear from them than I do from my partner. My partner is kind and hasn't done anything wrong. They think we're solid. I tell myself this isn't cheating because nothing's happened, but I know I wouldn't be okay if they did the same thing. Is this boredom? Is this emotional cheating? Or just avoiding a bigger conversation? I say this with love. The fact that you're asking and you're hiding and you're being sneaky about it tells you everything you need to know. The fact that you have said if your partner did everything that you are currently doing, you'd have a problem with it, tells you everything you need to know. I think it's all three. I think you are bored. I think it is emotional cheating. And I think you do need to have a bigger conversation. Do you want to be with your partner? Is there a problem with how you all connect? Can you not have the conversation with them? Can you not express yourself? Have you tried expressing yourself in the past? Have you been down a path similar to this before? Do you actually like this person? Is this really a friend? Do you have history with this person? Regardless of any of the things, to answer your question, there is something off about this. It is, I would consider it emotional cheating, your words, not mine. Regardless if you're bored and regardless if you're trying to avoid a bigger conversation. I don't know what your next steps are, but you owe it to your partner, I feel, to have the conversation. I am going to assume that because you brought up the fact that are you avoiding a conversation? So you feel like you should have the conversation. So I say go for it. If you have no intentions on being with this person, you should stop talking to them and you should honestly come clean to your partner, whether you're going to be with them or not. Don't know exactly what part you were asking for. So I hope I answered your question. But yeah, be for real, babe. Cut it out. That's not okay. All right, y'all. That's all for today's episode. I appreciate y'all so much for joining me today. If you want to follow along the journey and follow us on social media, you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads at Alive I Guess Podcast. If you would like to submit any inquiries, any feedback, any submissions for I Say This With Love, go ahead and email us at Alive I Guess Podcast at gmail.com. And if you are a follower on Instagram, go ahead and let me know what we are thinking about the podcast. I'm all ears. I would love to hear the feedback. Other ways that you can help support is by liking, sharing, sending this to someone who you think can really benefit from it. And just getting the word out there, spreading the word. And very soon in the new year, we are going to be firing up those Patreon exclusive episodes for the homies. And so if you are new here, the homies are my supporters on Patreon, and you can join them for just $7 a month. That's less than two foes, baby, at Popeyes. That's light work. And you get more content, you get more engagement. I want to start going live on there. I just have a lot of plans for my Patreon that are about to start getting rolling pretty soon. You don't want to miss it. That is it for today. Let me know how you feeling about the pod. I appreciate you for watching, for listening, for sharing, for just being here with me. And as always, I'm RJ. This is the Alive I Guess podcast. And I'll see y'all same time next week. I'm alive.